You've already had some lecture on linear regression, coefficient of determination, and standard error. So here is how to get the job done in a TI-84 and then a quick version of how to get it done in Excel. First thing we're going to do is go into Stat and Edit and get all 13 pairs into this spreadsheet. So all the x's go into L1, all the y's go into L2. There should be 13 pairs. You can tell because right here it's listed as the 13th element. This is not really part of the presentation. You would have gotten this in class, but I will still show you. Turn on stat plot if you want to look at the data. Turn it on right here. Zoom 9. And that's roughly what your data would look like. You can see that there should be a line-ish kind of thing going through it, and that's what our statistics is going to find for us. That's going to be the linear regression equation. You've been given a regression equation for this problem, but what if you had not been given a regression equation? I'm going to go to stat, over to calc, number 4, and going to stop right here and do some fancy pants stuff that's not really part of the presentation, but I'm going to put that on there anyway. Tell it to store the regression equation in y sub 1 for me. And that's how I would get the regression equation. It would give me my a and it would give me my b. You might notice that I don't have an r and an r squared here, and I want that on my screen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to mode. I'm going to go to stat diagnostics, and I'm going to turn that on. So now when I run stat calc 4, and then I get the r and the r squared. But that's where I get the regression equation. And the reason I stored it in store reg EQ is that now you can see where it is. Not necessary, but pretty pictures, huh? Now, because we already have stat diagnostics turned on, let's do this one more time. Stat calc 4. Make sure that your x and y are coming from the right places. And right there, your r squared is going to be on screen. That's your coefficient of determination. Now to find my standard error, I have the formula of the summation of all the squared deviations divided by n minus 2, all under a square root, but we're going to do some interpretation for a TI-84. So when I go to Stat and Edit, then in my L1 I have all my x values, and L2 I have all my y values, and those are data points. Those are things that were observed, and those are things that were supposedly they really happened. But what we're going to do is we're going to use our L3 to have all the predictions. So in my graph from before, then the stuff that's blue, that would be the actual y values, but the equivalent places where it would touch the green line, that would be my y hat values. So I'm going to go up to the name of L3. I can't be in a cell. And what I need to do is type in my regression equation. So I have negative 0.927. Now instead of saying x, I'm going to say where x is. That would be L1. Plus 82.473. I hit enter, and I have all of my y hat values. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I need my squared deviations. So I'm going to go to the name of L4, and I'm going to tell it that I want it to subtract y minus y hat and then square that. Well, my y's are in L2 minus y hat, which is in L3. Close it, square it, hit enter. Those are all my squared deviations. Now, I'm going to get back to my home screen. Knowing full well that my squared deviations are all in L4, I'm going to find a square root. I'm going to find a fraction. And I'm going to go to sum. The summation inside of this calculator would be second, and then list. Inside the stat menu, go over to math. And it's number 5 of L4. Gonna hit enter. No, I'm not. I'm gonna go down here, and I'm gonna say n minus 2. Well, we have 13 data points, which means that this is 11 data points. There we have it, ladies and gentlemen. If we want to do this all again in Excel, this is going to be the super speed version. We're going to highlight all the stuff, insert, tell it a scatter plot. right there, age of death. I'm going to right click on any one of the data points. I'm going to add a trend line. That's what Excel calls a regression line. I'm going to go down to the bottom here, display equation on chart, display R-squared value on chart. That's right here. I also like to make this a little bit bigger so I can read it. That's always handy. And then let's see, what else do we need? We need to find the standard error. So if I want to do math in Excel, then I have to type in, first of all, equals, and then negative, the equation, the regression equation, negative 0.927, and then times a particular x value, which is going to be in that column over there. So click on the first one, plus 82.473. Hit enter, grab that first one, go to where that square is, drag it down. Now that, I need the deviations after that, and I'm going to get the squared deviation. So I want it to do math, so I'm going to say equals, and y minus y hat, close it, and square it. I'm going to go this to the bottom. I'm going to say equals SQRT of the sum of all of this stuff, close it, divided by 11. Close it again. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. All three things, regression equation, R-squared, and standard error right here.